Iranian state TV says Ahmadinejad has been approved as the next president of Iran by the leader of the Islamic Revolution ahead of his inauguration on Wednesday. Retaining power means for many, Iran will remain a country with a nuclear threat. His aggressive rhetoric against Israel makes many in Jerusalem concerned over what they see as the biggest menace facing the Jewish state. RT's Paula Sleer reports.
Israel's attack on Iraq's nuclear reactor 28 years ago was bold. Fighter jets flew undetected before dropping 16 bombs over the Iraq nuclear plant near Baghdad. The reactor was destroyed, but there were no Israeli casualties. Despite continuing debate, the mission commander is convinced that the then Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein had nuclear ambitions.
We are the teams going to stop it, to destroy this threat.
And now, nearly 30 years later, Israelis feel they are again under threat. But the focus has shifted to Iran and whether they should repeat the strike that was so successful 3 decades ago. But times have changed.
It's a much more complicated situation now, tactically and strategically. Tactically, there is no one target that you can destroy and stop the project. Then many parts of the project are deep under the ground, under mountains. So many of them are not proper targets for oil power.
Israeli aircraft have been holding simulation long-distance combat sorties in the United States. There is speculation a facility has been built in southern Israel to shield its own nuclear reactor if the Iranians counter-attack.
Iran is continuing to advance their military capability, nuclear military capability, and Iran has a radical regime. It is an existential threat against the state of Israel.
Israelis are used to coping with the threat of war, but when the threat is on their borders. Iranian President Ahmadinejad's anti-Israeli rhetoric and boasts of long-range ballistic missiles capable of hitting the Jewish state have Israelis worried.
If negotiations between Iran and the United States fail, if sanctions don't work, and if, the third most important if, the United States decides that it's in its interest for a military attack against Iran's nuclear installations, then I think chances for a military strike by Israel and the United States, or Israel alone, will significantly increase.
But more and more Israelis are not prepared to risk it. Hundreds of families have installed nuclear bunkers in their homes to protect them against a possible Iranian attack. Ori Rakib uses his family's bunker as a music studio. At 2,000 square feet and costing $500,000, it can hold 25 people for 2 weeks. With walls thicker than a normal bomb shelter, it has a special system to block radioactive fallout.
I hope to think that it's just a bunch of propaganda and it's some sort of Cold War, but hell, if there is, I'm lucky. I'm going to just keep playing, so.
You see the mirror on the wall. The Israeli parliament says $500 million has been spent on a nuclear shelter in the Jerusalem hills. There, an Israeli war cabinet could run the country in a nuclear attack from Iran. Paula Sleer, RT, Israel.